I didn't get was the six pack.
Yeah, hey, yeah, time, hey, in the ring, yeah, downtime in the ring, yeah, you know we get it on. Downtime's in the ring, we gon' hustle till it's gone. Downtime in the ring, yeah, you know we get it on. Downtime in the ring, yeah, we got it till it's gone. Downtime in the ring, yeah, you know we get it on. Downtime in the ring, yeah, we hustle till it's gone.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Downtime in the Ring's post show for night one of Wrestlemania. As you guys can tell, we don't have the full roster here. Uncle Black could not join us, but we are blessed to have Bree, Nikki D, and our wise man DJ joining us yet again for this week as we go over the greatest WrestleMania Night 1 that's ever existed. I'm super excited to talk about this. I don't know if you guys could hear that, but I am super excited to talk about this. We all had our own experiences, but we're still talking to each other over this WrestleMania experience. Some of us are just a little bit more happier than others. Some of us are a little bit more confused than others. And I think one of us is just a little cranky because he's a lot older. But we are going to enjoy this. We are going to enjoy this conversation that we have. Be sure to comment, because if you comment, you are going to be entered in for this beautiful tumbler featuring the entire match card, except for the Philly street fight, because that doesn't actually count as a match. And also, I didn't give them the picture in time. Also, you guys can follow us at Downtime in the Ring on all social platforms except Twitter, because we don't have a Twitter set up for that. We just usually use our own personal ones. But let's go over the match card. Actually, you know what? Before we even go over the match card, give me a grade over what you thought Mania Night 1 was overall. And we'll go with ladies first. We'll go with Bree. Give us a grade of what you think this magical experience at the worst possible football field in entire existence, except for Jason Kelsey, because he was a great, great person, and I'll give him his hype later. Give us your grade. What do you think?
If I had to give WrestleMania 40 Night 1 a letter grade, I honestly give it a solid B. A couple of matches fell a little flat for me. The main event did save it, so I might have to bump that up to an A-. Not gonna lie, that main event blew me away. I knew it was gonna be crazy, but we'll get into that. But at A- for me.
DJ, what did you think?
It was solid for the most part. I originally had it as a high B to a A-, but for me, that main event kind of knocked it down a little bit. And yeah, B-.
Blasphemy, good sir. Avada Kedavra. Nikki, what did you think?
I thought it was an A-.
Okay.
A nice little solid A-. I did think that Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Naomi each deserved their own entrance, only to see how glamorous Jade Cargill's entrance by herself would have been. But I mean, and I do think the main event did go about 5-10 minutes longer than it needed to. I mean, other than that, I think the Sami Zayn and Gunther match is what really stole the show, and I really think that's what pushed it to an A- for me.
Bubs?
I'll give it an A. I won't convolute it with A- and A+ just yet. What I look for in WrestleMania is I'm looking for the spots, I'm looking for the feel good moments, I'm looking for the crowd reactions. I'm looking for the entrances, particularly the entrances, for me at least, because I'm a big music fan. I think what made it an A was the main event, but Sami Zayn and Gunther was also a contributing factor to that. But we'll get that to that point later.
I am going to give it an A. I think that. So what really sold it, and the one thing I'm always going to remember going forward in the world of professional wrestling, no matter what, is the way that Triple H came out and he closes his eyes away from the crowd and he just soaks it up. And I'm like, I was talking, Morgan was sitting right next to me the entire time. So the entire time we're giving our own commentary. And I was like, babe, this is the one thing I pray, even if we get invited backstage, that I want to do for any promotion. And so I could feel that. I was very excited. Overall, though, I'm going to give it an A. There were some things that didn't get me excited, and there were a few matches where I was like, man, I am waiting for the group to text because this is not for me. But overall, it's an A. So going off that, Triple H comes out, he talks. This is the Triple H era, or what Cody Rhodes has copyrighted or trademarked for, the Renaissance era of professional wrestling. So we are going to see a lot more, and this is, this was Trips' first WrestleMania Night 1, and it felt amazing. But the opening match featured Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley in a very much better and smoother match than she had against Charlotte Flair last year at SoFi Stadium, in my opinion. Who wants to start us off? What were your guys' idea? I know almost everybody loved Rhea's entrance, but what did we think overall? Who wants to start us off?
It was a pretty good match. I thought solidly the right person won. I'm really happy that Becky Lynch kind of lost this match, only because there's still people on the roster that Rhea Ripley would probably put butts in seats for if faced Tiffany Stratton, Liv Morgan. So I think that the right person won the match. I don't think it went too long, which has really helped the match. And it was a fast-paced, there was so much action in the match that it kind of made up for it. There wasn't no slow and methodical pace that would have bored the crowd. This was high-octane offense from beginning, middle to end. And honestly, I couldn't have been more happier with an opening match.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'll go with my thoughts. My thoughts was I love the spectacle of it. Both of their entrances were unique, were wonderful, very memorable. Obviously, Becky was trying to promote her book and be more classy, but just the awe that Rhea had, especially, and the energy that she had with Chris Motionless, the way they were both singing her lyrics, the way she was moving, she was going around, that definitely sold me on her entrance. Overall, the match was good. I think they were trying to work a shoot, and it annoyed the ever living shit out of me that it seemed like every other spot was, oh, Becky has 102 fever. And I got annoyed with it. I'm like, all right, cool. If we're going to work a shoot, that's fine. But let's have a spot where like Becky's coughing or something. And she's like, oh my God. Hey, what's up, Professor Bear? Oh my God. I think she can't do it anymore. Let's have a spot like that. Let's not just have, Becky just leaning against the ropes and half-assing it at some spots and trying to make it look like she actually still has the fever. I think that, they're trying to grab too much and trying to add the realism into it. And when you're working a shoot, you got to be really careful with that, because ultimately it annoyed the shit out of me in that part. I was like, ugh, stop it. Stop.
I kept, so I'll go in next with that. So I kept harping on the fact, why isn't strep throat contagious? Why would you keep mentioning that she's got strep throat and it's contagious? unless Triple H has that behind the curtain penicillin like on there. But it didn't take away too much from the match. I'd say you could see. I think she was forcing herself to look winded, like in turn of like trying to sell it with what was going on. But overall, I think the match was great. It didn't end off with an avalanche riptide, which I think she should save that for bigger, like more marquee matches. So the way she ended it was still pretty good, though. I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess that's up to me. I liked it. I think it was. I don't know if it was the cold, the weather outside, but both announcing and wrestlers were a little off. The announcing, it's gnarly landing on that arm drag, and it was picture perfect. It really was from when Becky grabbed her and released, and then the way that Rhea landed flat. It textbook. You couldn't draw it up better than that. And that was just horrible. No, dude, no, it wasn't. It was really good. They had both sets seemed to have a few miscues to start the match. There was an instance in the match where they had to reset, and they ran the same move set twice. And Becky was supposed to go off the ropes, and I don't remember the exact set. I was going to go back and watch it, but they had 3 moves. It didn't go. They didn't land the spot the way that they needed to. The ref came in, said something, and they ran that same move set again, and then just continued the match. And so I think they finally got it ironed out. I think I'm going back over my comments as well. They definitely brought up Becky being sick way too much. If she was sick, she performed very well. Solid match to open the night.
Yeah, this match to me, it was a solid opener, but the more they mentioned Becky being sick the whole week, Becky being sick, Becky has a fever, Becky has 102-degree fever, Becky has strep throat. It was like, is she really still sick? Like, it just didn't make sense. Like, and plus, we're still in a pandemic-esque kind of era. Like, we're in that post-pandemic era where, like, you can't say stuff like that and do stuff like that because there were so many people. There were over 70,000 people there. Any of them could have gotten sick that were right around the ring. Rhea could have gotten sick. Strep throat is very contagious. So if she still has that fever, she's still contagious. So that just didn't make sense to me at all. But as far as the match, I feel like it was great. The right person definitely won. Becky did not need to be the one to dethrone Rhea. So mommy is still on top, and that's all I could have asked for out of this match.
Awesome. So, definitely a memorable women's match. I don't think it was women's match of the night, and I'm gonna kind of stick with that. Maybe it could move to women's match of the weekend, but we still got one tomorrow. So then we go from that, and we go into the ladder match. I'm correct.
Yes.
Where we have the team of DXIY, the Awesome Republic, the Awesome Truth, A-Town Down Under, Judgment Day, and the TNA New Day, all competing for 2 separate sets of belts, which I think was the first time ever in WWE. We saw a lot of crazy spots. We've seen so many different outcomes that could have come with it. We saw Damian Priest cuss at a ref, which was kind of funny. We also saw a pin for the first time in a ladder match for titles. I didn't think I'd ever see that. And a hot tag.
Yeah.
A hot tag.
Yeah.
4 titles. I was like, we're in a whole new era of when they say Renaissance, I need to update the rules, man. I need to know what's going on. So Again, I'm going to let one of you guys start us off. What did you guys think overall of the match? Who wants to go first?
To say this match had me on my toes would be an understatement. Like, I enjoyed the hell out of this entire match. Like, this is what I want out of a ladder match, especially at WrestleMania, for belts that we've been asking to be split for over a year now. It was just great. Like, the moment, every time I thought there was a chance that Judgment Day could have gotten the belt, I was screaming. Like, that's, to me, a perfect WrestleMania match. When you have me screaming at my television about a possible finish, that's how you've won me over. Like, this match was a 10 out of 10 for me. The right people won. I love that there was no change up, no surprise, nobody getting pulled out of the match. Everyone that was in this match rightfully earned their spot. And A-Town Down Under are SmackDown Tag Team Champions, which I think is going to be great to see how that goes. Awesome Truth. I predicted it. They are our Raw Tag Team Champions for the first time in their tag team run. So that is going to be great to watch as well. I love this.
I also want to give a shout out to Pretty Deadly. Pretty Deadly was hilarious in the skit before this match. The way they sat there and roasted each and every tag team down the list was flawless. I have to say that first and foremost. And second most, even though I picked DIY and New Catch Republic, I am so happy that Odd Truth got his flowers. This man deserves it. And him climb that ladder and grab the Raw Tag Team Championships might be one of the best moments of the weekend because it was goofy, it was silly, and it was just flat out awesome. I'm not going to be surprised if we get chants on Monday night for the Miz and Our Truth saying, "You deserve it," because Our Truth truly does deserve it after the grind that he's had in WWE over the past 20 years. Other than that, this match really was a lot of high flying octane offense. And like Bree said, even though I picked DIY and New Catch Republic, the right teams won.
Yes. Overall, that's why I was like, I called it partially. I was so happy to see Our Truth do it. You know how dumb I feel is that when Our Truth went for the hot tag, I popped out of my seat and was like, he did it. Yes. Like, that was one of the greatest things ever. Us making fun of the technical difficulties because we had the Awesome Truth and the Awesome Republic back to back. That was funny. The DXIY stuff was cool. DJ making fun of the fact that Finn Balor couldn't see shit in his mask. I thought that was hilarious. Overall, it was a great match. It did exactly what it needed to do. It was a tag team showcase. Did everything it was supposed to do. Grayson Waller got completely wrecked into that ladder, which was perfect. Loved it. And now we're heading into this new era. We'll have the draft here in a month or so. I'm excited to see where all these teams go. We could potentially see Awesome Truth switch over to SmackDown and A-Town Down Under switch over to Raw. I'm excited. Who knows what's going to happen? But yes, in my opinion, that match was great.
I'd say same thing. Match was goddamn great between the DX attire of DIY, the tune up the band from Johnny Gargano, the ladder spot with Grayson Waller, the ladder spot with Tyler Bate, the ladder, just so many of them, but those are the two that I always come to. It was a memorable match for this, and again, it's a showcase of what the tag team division will be. This is going forward, so I'm more than willing to see what's going to come out of all this. Awesome Truth getting his flowers at Mania. It's so good. Consequences, Creed. On top of that, if you've ever followed Austin Creed's career back from TNA, he brought out the old gear, old gimmick, innuendo, but it was so heartfelt. I'm gonna remember this match.
Yeah, and I knew that the first match went long a little bit, and they were trying to get the teams out as almost as fast as they could, which as part of the technical difficulties. Once it got started, I had to make fun of Finn and Priest because what the hell was on their heads? It looked
Purple
like the
Cane.
CIA got a hold of Finn, and the
Purple
funniest
Cane.
thing is that Priest sticks out his fist, and he mutters over to Finn, hey, fist is out, and Finn's like, what? Oh, and they finally touch, and I'm like, oh my god, he can't see, and it was amazing. Somebody needs to check on Dunn, because when Gargano put him through that table, if that
Oh,
would
the
have been
DDT. Yes.
Yeah.
if that would have been anybody else, I really would have feared for his safety. That was a nasty bump that he took. Wow. The ladder spot was amazing. Anytime that Truth climbed the ladders and reached out for both titles, I was cussing Donovan. I was like, if he calls this, but we didn't get that. Instead we got the hot tag, and it was glorious in all its R-Truth magnificence. So happy for him. First time he's ever won at a Mania in any capacity. It's the first time he's won. And the work that he puts in, the joy of wrestling that he brings to people, outstanding. Did not pick Theory, Austin Down Under, whatever their name is or whatever. I did because with them even saying, hey, we even could replace these guys. I'm like, oh, all right. Well, if they could possibly replace them, they might not stick around as a tag team. So they probably are there just for a spot, and they won't get the titles. But they do work well together. I don't know. I'm excited for the tag division again. Let's go.
So a little note is when R-Truth started climbing, I yelled at Morgan and I was like, he's afraid of ladders. She goes, is he really? And I was like, Money in the Bank, he's got arachnophobia. And she looked at me and I was like, because he thinks spiders are on those damn ladders. So I was like, oh, I could give her that little call back. But I was like, he's afraid of ladders. They're going to make him climb. So yeah, that's another thing.
I was curious about that too. I'm like, is he slowing up that ladder because of his fear? I'm like, this is long-term storytelling.
So after that match, we got the Agua Fresca match, right? Correct?
Yeah.
So I want to go first on this one. I completely love this match. This was one of the coolest things that we could have ever done. Obviously, Bree was like, do you have your agua fresco ready? And I was like, I do 1,000%. I love when we get to have Hispanic wrestlers actually get a showcase and, get to show lucha a little bit more. I got to see some of my favorite Hispanic wrestlers of all time, Rey Mysterio, Carlito made an appearance. Obviously, the GOAT of Lucha Libre, 1,000%. We got to see Jason Kelsey come back. That was one of the coolest things in the world. Obviously, he's smiling down from Mexico or somewhere. And then my doppelganger Andrade got to show himself off. So that was one of the coolest things that I got to enjoy overall. Only thing I can say is still fuck the Eagles, but that's it.
Yeah. Heavy on the fuck the Eagles. Okay. If my co-host were here, he would not appreciate that at all. But no, this match was great from beginning to end. I love that both the LWO and Legado del Fantasma kind of like stayed out of it as much as possible. You know, they made their interferences like when necessary, but it didn't feel like, you know, it should have been just Legado del Fantasma versus LWO. Andrade looked fucking phenomenal. Can't believe this is only his second WrestleMania match in his entire career. That's wild to even think about. But Jason Kelsey popping up, it was hilarious. I didn't know who it was until they pulled the mask off. Like it worked so well. And the right team won this one. Once they added Andrade, I was like, there's no way that Ray and Andrade are gonna lose. And I was right.
And I really thought that this match was exactly what it needed to be. High flying back and forth, lasted about 15, 20 minutes. And like Bree said, the right team won. And having Jason and Kelsey interfere was the icing on the cake, along with I think it's Lane Johnson,
Yes.
the other
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia Eagle player. I didn't know who he was, but I knew who Jason Kelsey was. Anybody that doesn't know him has been living under a rock in 2024. Like,
News.
but this match was definitely did what it was supposed to do. It gave us high flying action. It was personal at times, and at the end of the day, Rey Mysterio whooped his son for the second year in a row.
Who's going next?
I'll go, I guess. Yeah, it was a good match, very solid. I liked, as was said, that interference was kept to a minimum, and it was kept to the other outside participants. So they didn't interfere with the match so much as they interfered with each other. Loved Wild's flying squirrel when they launched him up off the second rope. That was pretty cool. But yeah, once I wasn't sure who was really going to win. Of course, I had Sling TV, and so I didn't get to see SmackDown because it takes it a day for it to load up. So I didn't know that Dragon Lee was attacked by somebody and got replaced by Andrade.
He slipped on an apple.
Otherwise, you know, and if that would have been when you know before we made our predictions, I probably would have picked Ray and Andrade to win. But you know, it was a good match. They all looked good. Ray, as old as he is, still looked good. I mean, can't hate on old people. I am one, so you know, good match. So very solid.
I liked the homages. Again, same thing. Interference was kept to a minimum, and amongst the other affiliates outside of the ring, what I liked out of that was the homage to Rey Mysterio, the 619 that Zelina Vega does to the leg. I liked that part particularly because it showcased. It's like, oh yeah, this is kind of like a storybook of what lucha. This is a representation of what it can be, you know. So I had put in our Discord chat that this was the exact representation of someone taking the last tamale at a Hispanic Christmas party. and
Somebody touches my agua fresca, and this is what happens. That's all I can say.
Someone drank too many agua frescas that night, dog.
You know what? They're
and the
good.
dancing and the cumbias going on all night. You
crazy. Touched my margarita. We're fighting. Okay.
But no, great match.
So I had sent a video for this next match. We were kind of let down, in my opinion, with the match that had been building up since the Royal Rumble, or even before that, which featured Jimmy and Jey Uso going one-on-one for the very first time. I even yeeted in my seat. Take that how you will. But after that, this was one of the matches that was my bathroom break. This was my bathroom break match for this night. I did not enjoy it. I think that it was bad. I think that the video package made it even worse now in hindsight, because you made a beautiful and brilliant video package. You made just one of the coolest things that we could see for WrestleMania Night 1, and then they didn't even go all the way. They half-assed it in a lot of parts. So yeah, that was my opinion. Jimmy versus Jay. Who wants to go?
I'll go
This
because I want
match,
to counter that.
yeah,
Like, I think that Jimmy and Jey Uso possibly even stole the show for night one here, because these are two twins that have been teaming up for well over a decade. This is a match that the people have wanted to see for a number of years. And then when they went to WrestleMania and they got in the ring and they went to war, there was nothing but counters and reversals and super kicks. Oh my gosh, I can't even count how many super kicks there were in this match. And they came back and forth like a tennis match. I honestly had no idea who was going to win for majority of this match. And I was really happy to see Jay win just because of all the times that Jimmy was screwing him out of title opportunities over the last few months. So this was a really good comeuppance that Jimmy got for all the things that he's done to his brother. But I really thought, because of all the reversals and all the finishes that we saw and the length of the match and how long it went between these two brothers, that's why I think it was a really good match.
I'm gonna change your name to Young Bucks for life, because all those damn super kicks for no reason. I've never seen anybody unsell a super kick more. And there's a whole
Yeah.
company called AEW.
yeah. This match disappointed me. For anyone who watches our podcast, I have been asking for this match for years. I wanted this match so bad. I wanted it to be a City of Brotherly Love street fight. Like, the hype that I had going into this match was crazy. And they disappointed me so bad. Like, this match was it wasn't the worst match of the night by any means, but like, it's not what it should have been. Like, the video package, like Donovan said, it was so good. It hyped the match up even more. I was ready. And then they just ruined it. Like, it was going fine, but then I feel like when Jimmy kind of had his moment where he was like upset and apologizing, that just kind of ruined it for me, because we had seen that before, except it was Roman and Jay back in 2020 at Hell in a Cell in the I Quit match. And at that moment, Roman was able to get the win. So I feel like Jay should have lost this match. Like, I'm gonna forever die on that hill. This should have been Jimmy's moment, because Jay has had multiple moments leading up to this. So I it was bad. It was a bad night.
If there was ever a drinking game for every super kick taken in that match, oh God, I pray for your liver. But it was the match with so much potential, and they didn't have the proper build in it for it to be that. At least for at least for myself, I thought it was kind of like a rushed sort of thing overall. When you're coming from a bloodline storyline, you would expect to be like one of those, like, you know how there's Game of Thrones and then there's like the spin-off of Game of Thrones, whatever, I forgot, the House of Fire or something like that, House of the Dragon or something. But it was worse than Game of Thrones somehow. That's how I felt about that. They could have done so much more. Like, they could have like convinced one another at the end, but they didn't even do that. Like, to signify anything. So who knows? Maybe that's being affected in due part to the main event of tomorrow. But right now, I'm left with a big question mark after that. So
We are being
Yeah.
yeeted and no yeet. Wow.
to yeet or not to yeet?
That's the question.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the video package. Set it up great. The intro, both of them, amazing. Weezy coming out with Jay, awesome. Loved it. Was hoping he'd get a little more in, but that's all right. I'm a Lil Wayne fan. I enjoy him. He's just got one of those infectious personalities that you just want to see him just go. And we get the match, and we get 3 moves over and over. I think I said, what did I say said something about in the chat. You get yeet and no yeet by 60K because they didn't announce the attendance at that point. I didn't realize that I was also talking about the amount of times that they're going to smack each other because that's basically all they did. Half the match was just it felt like the mini game on WWE 2K24. Hit the square. All right. Oh, hit the square. Oh, just so back and forth in super kicks, and then a couple of frog splashes, and that's it. That's all we got. No storytelling with the moves. No nothing. Just all right. We're going to hit each other until we fall down. And then seriously, there's so many super kicks. I really thought Jimmy got concussed. And then I wrote that in the chat. And I'm like, dude, looks like he's just, his eyes kind of drifting off to the side a little bit. And then he begs off. And as soon as he begged off, I'm like, all right, I know what's going to happen now. So, but yeah, I don't know. It was okay, but definitely not, to me at least, it wasn't match of the night at all.
No.
Not even close.
We're not saying you're wrong, Dinky. We're just saying
To me,
you're wrong. We're not saying you're wrong. We're just saying you're wrong.
You're wrong.
Okay.
There's some things in wrestling that I like, and there's some things that you like, and there's some things that I don't, and you don't. That just comes with the territory of
CBS
loving
Sports gave that match a C. Wow.
That was
Okay.
nice.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
generous.
all right. So we will go on to our next match. And I think this is probably the match that a lot of us had our eyeballs literally glued to the set. Damn. Even he said it was too high. Damn. Which was Damage Control, which I liked their entrance. It was pretty. Versus the team of Bianca Belair, Naomi, and Jade Cargill. And I'll let somebody else go first because I know we all have a lot of comments on just the entrance alone.
I have so much to say. The entrance was great. I love Damage Control's entrance. I love Jade Cargill, Bianca, and Naomi's entrance. Even though I do agree with Nikki, I feel like the three of them could have all had separate entrances, honestly. It just would have, I don't know. I feel like all three of them could have had a huge entrance. And we know Bianca can do a WrestleMania entrance. Like last year was wild. But as far as the match, it was great. Damage Control could possibly be coming to an end. Asuka accidentally misted Kyrie Sane. Jade Cargill was able to get the pin. Asuka unfortunately ate another pin at WrestleMania. It was a great match. And for me, who did not grow up seeing too many Black women in wrestling, this was just something great for all of the little brown girls out there. So I absolutely loved this. It was phenomenal.
I love this match too. And one thing that did confuse me about the entrance, I have no idea what that white line was going down Jade Cargill. It went down her face and then down her chest. And I had no idea what that represented. I was so confused. I'm like, what is that? The outfit looks good, but that white line is just throwing me off. But other than that, the entrances, like Bree said, I think they each could have had their own separate entrance. And honestly, I think the match went a little short. I think that Jay Cargill should have had more offense. I think she should have been able to showcase more of her in ring ability. Like I kind of felt like Naomi was in there for like 3 minutes, Bianca was in there like for like four, and Jade was in there for like four, and the match went like 10, 12 minutes. Like I really felt like Jade Cargill should have gotten a good 7, 8 minutes in the ring, so we as fans could have seen more of what she can do and what she's capable of in 2024. Other than that, the match definitely was a great match, and it did everything it had to do in order to make to fill its slot at a WrestleMania card.
So
So
the match was 8 minutes long, apparently.
Wow.
Jesus.
Yes,
Don't
the
say
match was
wow.
8 minutes. So you were right on it being fast.
And 5 of
But-
it was entrances.
Yes. So, but I think it was more of a showcase match. It's like WrestleMania debut type showcase. Protect Jade. Maybe Monday after Raw's when they'll really give her a good push. See
Friday.
what that was all, or SmackDown.
Yeah, she's on
SmackDown.
SmackDown. She's contracted to SmackDown.
Yeah, so we'll see what goes on with that. I think the match was pretty good. It didn't impress on the in-ring aspect. It was pretty interesting on the entrance aspect. I liked it. Nothing bad I can say about it.
So I'm gonna say this as somebody who really, really fell in love with wrestling during the women's revolution because I just like it. I was mostly raised by women, so I always go out for the girls. You know what? They deserve their power too. Their entrance, holy shit, my guy, Julia Hart, who? Because Naomi stole that completely. Jade Cargill finally found the perfect company for her. Bianca, I thought was Cyclops from the X-Men, and I thought that was a X-Men 97 reference right there. Overall, was great, was wonderful, was one of the coolest things that I could have seen. The match was short, regardless. Jade did what she needed to do. Obviously, they're going to try and protect her as much as they can because expensive debuts never lose, and she's a very expensive debut. But it was perfect. Do I want Damage Control to end? No. And like I said, like I put in the chat, you have so much wrestling history in that ring. In that ring currently, you had TNA, WWE, AEW, Stardom, Joshi, and Ring of Honor. All experiences out of those 6 women. It was
New
perfect.
Japan Pro Wrestling too.
Oh, and and New Japan. I put NJPW for Kyrie.
Yep.
So yeah, like those women knew what they were going to do, and if they were given a short time, obviously they made the best of it with what they had, and I can't wait to see where they all go from here. So those were my thoughts.
Entrances probably were the best thing about the match, but on both sides. I really enjoyed the Kabuki Warrior type entrance. Still a little too much makeup, I think. It looked like that Kairi Sane was wearing a mask like the whole time, rather than, it just, I don't know, it looked weird. Asuka just used to her having her face paint. Nothing new there. The other one, I think I put Naomi coming in like Raiden,
Yes.
with that big old hat. that she had on.
So badass though.
Yeah, Bianca looking like Cyclops, and Jade coming in as Storm. I thought maybe it's a version of the X-Men or something.
Do.
Right? Yeah. Uh, did you guys catch what Jade said when she caught Kyrie off when she jumped off the turnbuckle?
No, I missed it.
She said she caught her and she's like, "Really? This is too easy." And she was bored. She didn't have to do anything, and she looked like she was just bored in the ring. She caught her and was like just shrugged, and she just shook her head and said, "Y'all just making this too easy, or this is just too easy." And she planted down Kyrie. Dakota's like, "Hey," and so she turned and looked at her, and that was all that wrote. And yeah, it just she's not going to get a match until she can get somebody that can go with her. If they want to do it, they need to put her again, not with Bianca, but against Bianca.
I've
Yeah.
been saying that since the beginning.
Seriously, I
No
can't
comment.
think of another. Maybe Charlotte when she gets back. For
I can see it.
physicality, there's not really it. And we'll get to the other match about size differences here in a second. But just for a matchup, to make it interesting, to make it believable, you got to put her up against a powerhouse. And it only makes perfect sense for it to be Bianca. But yeah, short match. What they did was good. Just rather short. Entrances were longer than the match. I always hate it when that happens, but yeah.
You're senile, old timer. I don't know what to tell you, but we'll move on to the next match. Features, which was such a weird statistic when it finally came out. Gunther holding his title for the 66th day. I said that right. I know I did. Holding the title for 666 days. Going up against Sami Zayn. And I want you guys to go because you guys actually, you know what, Nikki, I'm going to send you a link and you're just going to show us the show notes from your secret job about how this match was supposed to go, because there's no way that you called this perfectly. I don't want to hear it, but I'm going to let you guys go with this one. Mine's going to be real short. It's just, I'm happy he won. I was really bored because I didn't think he was going to. The KO spot was amazing, but I'm going to let you guys feel your emotions because I know Bree had some things to say and everybody was feeling mixed emotions. So I'm going to let y'all go with that one.
Yeah, definitely feeling some mixed emotions. Like, I did not care about this match at all. I haven't cared about it. I'm not a huge Sami fan. Like, he's great in the ring. I will give him that, but he's not for me. So I did not care about this match at all. I thought this was going to be a quick, Gunther goes out there, does what Gunther does, and that's it. But after Sami's entrance, I'm like, okay, Sami's winning. I did not pay attention to this match at all. I was playing my coloring book game on my phone during this match. Like, I literally paid zero attention to it. Happy that Sami got the win. I just still do not believe he was the right one to dethrone Gunther, and I'm just going to leave it at that.
Well, I will say I did watch the match, and this match was pretty much WWE's version of Rocky IV. And it was in Philadelphia, which made it even more so. Gunther literally beat the snot out of this boy for a good 15 minutes, just like Drago did to Rocky early in the rounds in Rocky 4. And then Sami Zayn came back. I had a feeling we was going down this road as soon as we segued backstage and we saw Sami talking to his wife, telling her to keep their kid backstage. And as soon as I saw her at ringside, and every time they cut to her during the match to see the look on her face, I knew. All I saw was Sami Zayn as Rocky and his wife as Adrian, and I just sat there and I'm just like, Sammy's gonna win this because Rocky beat Dragunov in Rocky 4. So I will admit though, Bree was right about one thing. I don't think Sami Zayn should have been the one that ended Gunther's streak. I think that privilege should have been given to Ilya Dragunov, who should have been called up after losing the NXT title, but that didn't happen. So I am happy that I called it right, but at the same token, I kind of feel like there are a few superstars in the back that are worthy of taking the title from Gunther over Sami Zayn.
Yeah, similar to Nikki, when they're backstage and the little thing with the wife and kid, all right, whatever. What got me was when Gable says, "Remember, after this, you owe me a favor," and I'm like, "All right, I know who's going to win now. All right, it's a done deal." So yeah, and Sammy, of course, didn't say what favor, like Rocky did in Rocky 3. What favor? What are you talking about? And you'll see. And but yeah, as soon as that happened, I was like, I don't know how it's going to work or how they're going to do it, but it was it was a brutal match. Just if you saw both of their chests, they looked like pounded hamburger meat. It was bad. Bruising for days. Donovan knows what that feels like, and unless you get chopped like that, it hurts, and it hurts deep. Sammy threw out some half and halves, which I hadn't seen him do in a while. So going back into his repertoire, Brainbuster out of nowhere was huge. So I liked that part of it. Yeah, was he the right one to win on this night? Maybe. But I think other people should and could have done a better job with it. But yeah, we'll see where they take it. It was a match, and both of them went through war by the end.
Chris, you got any thoughts?
So it always impresses me at how quickly they can turn around something and like make a moment as quick as they did. I'll give it that. Like they just, especially now where they have the ability to do so, to kind of add these short, quick feet, like little factors in. Like you see his family backstage. You see the Rocky line that Gable gives, and it's Philly, and you start putting, it's kind of like everyone put two and two together what was going to happen, and so everyone knew it was going to happen, and they wanted it. And I think same here. Sammy should have won it for the night, but I think that someone could have probably benefited more from beating Gunther, like especially with the 666 days and stuff, and all that stuff. Like there was so many little tiny factors that they added into that to kind of just steer it the way that we saw on television. And so I ended up enjoying this match. I thought it was going to be one of those like murders that Gunther was going to have, but like Sammy would get the comeback and then Gunther would just don't. But it worked, and the old moves that Sammy pulled off, and it just harks back to the whole Sammy being the king of the underdog stint. So it works out.
So if you guys remember, like a few months ago, Drew had a feud with Sammy, and he said some pretty like just outlandish shit that seemed like a shoot that, you know, Sammy hasn't won a world title, this, that, and the other, so he really doesn't have anything to say. I would love it, and this hurts me to say it, but I would love for Drew to lose tomorrow and Sammy be like, I am the person that took down Gunther when you couldn't. When you and Sheamus couldn't do it together in SoFi, and Sammy did it. That's my little I'm gonna put that pin on the board. Nikki, if you could tell your boss Papa H,
Don't
just,
do
you
it.
know,
Don't do it.
I'd prefer that.
Well, unfortunately, I picked Drew McIntyre tomorrow night, so
Blasphemy. Good for so did I, but after Sammy won, I was like, this is petty and I love it. So we'll go into the main event, which featured Cody Rhodes in Legend of Zelda gear, which was so cool, and Seth Rollins, who was wearing a flower, and DJ didn't know what the fuck it was, versus the Bloodline in, like, Bree, we said it already. You were like, how many amazing entrances is Roman going to have? And I was like, he's going to have 5 throughout the weekend, and 3 of them were going to be camera shots. I got it close. Close.
Yeah.
But we're there basically. So I'm gonna let DJ start because he's the old timer with the soapbox that he got all the things to say. Actually, let me move these toys off the shelf and you can stand on there, and that'd be your soapbox. I'm gonna let you go first with your thoughts on this match.
Oh my God. All right. Entirely way too long. I'm just going to get right. I was bored. Halfway through the match, when they start going through the crowd, they could have just completely ignored all that. There was no need. Why not have this be a Bloodline rules match as well? Because that's basically what it was. The ref didn't need to be in there. It just, it made no sense. I don't mind cheating. One of my favorite wrestlers of all time, Eddie Guerrero, made a career out of it. Do it smart. You know, the whole thing is just, it was just blatant biasness that had no reason for it to be there. You have a creative department for a reason. Be creative with your matches. If you can't do it in the middle of a match, then don't do it at all. You don't need to pull out the ref and then tell the ref, oh, you can't do this and don't do that. And, you know, even the announcers are like, oh, well, The Rock can do whatever he wants. He's on the board. You know, I don't get it. Following their rules that they have, fine. Okay. It drug on, and I lost interest in it. And then they brought it back into the ring, and it picked up, and you got the classic moves from everybody. Great. But we're still missing some components that they promised that you're going to get, and they didn't do it. So, to me, this is one of the weaker matches of the night, just as far as storytelling, because there was no story. It was just a spot fest.
I can definitely see that. And one of the highlights of the match was The Rock's entrance. I'll admit that The Rock had one of the best entrances out of anybody on the entire night. Oh, but this wasn't just a regular singles match. This was what The Rock says goes match. Because anytime the Rock wanted to do something outside of the rule book, he just look at the ref and be like, if you disqualify us or you count us out or whatever, you're fired. So the referee kind of had to just sit there and do whatever The Rock said anyway. Like the DJ's right. This match didn't need to go into the audience, but it went into the audience because The Rock wanted it to. Otherwise, they would have gotten counted out. Like all the weapons that they used in this match, same thing. Like in the finish to the match, you're telling me that a people's elbow is going to get the three count when Roman Reigns couldn't get a 3 count on a spear, and like I think that if this match was, it would have needed to end by like a rock bottom or a spear. I even think the finishing move that closed out this match was a little weak. It felt more like a signature move on WWE 2K24. So I definitely don't think this match is as great as it could have been, but I do think that outside of it being too long, it was pretty solid. But like, and I'm being generous when I say that. Like this, they could have done better for a night one main event, and they as soon as Seth Rollins' knee got injured, that pretty much told me that he's losing tomorrow night. So there's a spoiler right there. Like, so honestly, I probably would be generous and give this match a B minus.
I'm gonna fight both of
I
y'all.
guess I'm right. I'm like, what?
Okay. For one, I'm sorry, Bree. Let me yell at him real quick. For one, The Rock telling the ref to not do something. We literally had that earlier in the day with Ava Rain. Like father, like daughter. Like, I don't know where you guys are forgetting, or if you know the just the brain's gone, but we literally had this. The family did it on the development show. What are you talking about? They did it. They did it. This match wasn't bad. It was what it was supposed to be. It got The Rock over. He didn't have to do much. It made Roman. Okay, there is also another thing that Pat McAfee said. So I don't know how to take it, because him and Cole were just goofing around the entire time. But he did say that Roman is currently fighting. So did it come out of remission? They're talking about his leukemia. Did it come out of his remission? Or I don't know. Maybe we may get.
Leukemia is one of those things where it's like it goes away, but it never really goes away. It can come back
it can go into remission, but it's not cured.
Yeah.
So it's not something.
He is still
immunocompromised,
and like it.
Yeah. It's kind of like
still
mine.
there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes more sense now.
My mom had cancer when she was alive. When you deal with cancer, it normally comes in waves. You can go into remission, but it's not gone. But if it's not continuously treated, it can always come back and come back and come back again.
Okay, because when he said that, I was like, "That's so off the wall." I didn't know how to take that. But overall,
I took that too, and especially with me fighting it now.
Yeah.
It's like I went 30 years in between rounds with this stupid thing.
Yeah.
Had stage 4, got through it for 30 years, was free and clear up until last year. So, and it's in a different spot, different location, different type, but they still classify it as lymphoma, which is what I had years ago, because it never really goes away. It morphs, it can come back, attack all sorts of things. So that kind of surprised me. So I'm gonna have to look into that, because to me that's a very serious thing. It's I'm hoping it's not something that they're going to either make light of or make into a work of some sort. And that's not I don't
like know. Out of all the things that I deeply love about Pat, I was like, that's a off the wall kind of thing. Still doesn't, that's still one thing compared to the off the wall shit that you guys are complaining about, that The Rock couldn't just say, "I'm your boss and you're gonna listen," because we haven't had that in so long. It felt so fresh, and the ref being like, "I literally can't do shit." I loved it. I loved it. It's
Yeah.
like having your boss yell at you and you're not doing anything wrong. It's just so confusing.
It was great.
Then
was
announce
great.
it. You know, hey, this match is now a no DQ match. Okay,
They don't have
fine.
to.
But we don't have to.
They
He's
don't have
on
to.
the board. We all
Ma-
knew it was gonna be
Mind
like
if I articulate my thoughts? This
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay.
I know that. It's fine. Go ahead.
So, did Vince ever come out and change the rules all of a sudden?
Yes.
Name
Oh,
redacted.
yeah.
They always
What's the
make
name of this era? What's the name of this era?
The Triple H era.
Renaissance
That
era.
and the Renaissance era.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's harkened back to that era particularly. They've alluded to it all weekend. They're fighting against themselves. They're fighting against the Attitude Era. And what better way than to bring in a version of an authority figure in The Rock? He's the best guy to do it. The best guy to do it. And like one thing that I liked personally, and this was kind of like out of the blue, aside from The Rock's entrance, that was by far greater than anything Triple H could ever fucking do. I firmly believe that. It sucks, but Triple H next night do something at least. But anyway, they started giving names to the referees more recently. You see, so
Yeah.
like with the Earl Hebner stuff, everyone knows who Earl Hebner is. So now we're gonna know the senior official of this person now.
Yeah.
Who's going to be easily coerced, and maybe that puts seeds into the fact that they're going to go further into this, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's more of like, I understand where you're coming from, where at certain points it was kind of like a breather for like it was slowed down, but if you think about it, it works in The Rock's favor, who they've said it all night with like saying like he hasn't been in a match for 8 years, 10 years, however you want to take it, you know. It works in The Rock's favor, on top of the fact that he's taking into account his actual legit reasoning in being there. He is the board of directors, and it's bringing back something that we haven't seen in so long. I firmly believe that it was going to go the way it goes. I was surprised that there was no like Uso, like bloodline involved individuals. Like I was expecting a Solo and a Jimmy somewhere. No, they
No,
you know?
Moxley comes.
Yeah.
Moxley comes tomorrow.
So they're saving
That
all
would've been
that,
stop.
you know, they're saving all that for tomorrow, and it worked out. I completely understand where you're coming from, where it's spots where it kind of slowed down, but I kind of think of that as a WrestleMania main event. So high rise, slow, stall, high rise again, slow, stall, and then you come into that conclusion of, okay, well, we got bloodline rules. I'm more happy that they finally kind of confirmed bloodline rules after pitching that, compared to when they should have confirmed Dwayne Johnson rules prior to this match. You know what I mean? So looking at it from a macro level, like more of a like further down the line sort of
What is
thing,
that?
I absolutely enjoy it.
It said Brock
Paul
Lesnar's not
Levesque.
going to be there tomorrow night.
Paul Levesque has said that Brock Lesnar is not done with the WWE. He is just home being Brock.
Ooh.
He said that at
shit.
press conference in front of everybody that you could imagine
Shit.
currently. I had to check my phone to see the updates, so I don't know
Well,
how you guys want to take that. He's no longer named.
Let's start Endgame. Let's start Endgame. Let's start Endgame.
Yes.
I still believe you're going to see Brock Lesnar tomorrow night.
So, but no, those are my final thoughts on that. I think it works out because of the 2-night aspect. They're really thinking ahead on that, and like, yes, people are going to nitpick, but overall, I personally believe that it was a good main event for night one. Was it? Did I feel like it should have had replaced Bailey and Io in their spot? Absolutely not. But that's the cards that we were dealt with, and we just move forward.
So I'm gonna come
sorry,
in
go ahead.
and be a little biased here, okay? I've said it before. I will say it again. I have been a stan of Roman Reigns and The Rock for the entire time I've been a wrestling fan, basically. So this match was I was gonna be rooting for them anyway. This match was great. The stuff with the ref just made so much sense to me because he's the final boss. He's on the board of directors. He is their boss. Everyone that was out there, Roman included, and Paul Heyman, he is their boss essentially. So that just made so much sense to me. His entrance, fucking phenomenal. It's entrance of the weekend. Okay, I'm already calling it, and I haven't even seen the entrances for tomorrow. But the match was great. I don't think it went too long. It's honestly, it went as long as I expected it to go. Um, the stuff in the audience, that was great. It was what I wanted out of Jimmy and Jay, and they did not give us that. So I was happy that we at least got it in some capacity here. I love that they were separated too. So it was like Cody and Roman were fighting up on the stage while The Rock and Seth were out in the crowd just doing whatever. My only issue is, like Nikki said, the people's elbow is not a fucking finisher. Like, you cannot make me believe that an elbow drop is what completely makes a person like, nope, I can't kick out of that. Like, I get compared with everything else you went through in the match on top of that, maybe, but like, come on now. The rock bottom should have been what ended that match for me. But other than that, A plus. I loved it, but I'm also biased. So, yeah.
Well, I think, and I resigned myself after talking with you guys on Thursday that, all right, yeah, this is not going to be, or Cody and Seth will lose, therefore making tomorrow night be a Bloodline rules match. And
Yes.
this is what I expected in a Bloodline rules match. Fights everywhere. Referees, maybe going through 2 or 3 different referees in order to get a result. So I guess in my own head booking, I expected this to be more of a straightforward tag match with a little bit of shenanigans here and there in the ring. And then you get all the craziness tomorrow night. And it's like, so now what are they going to do tomorrow in a Bloodline rules match to top all of everything that they've done for tonight? And I'm sure they'll come up with something pretty crazy to do it, but I would have saved a lot of that for the next night when that's it. All right. So, but I was looking while you guys were talking. I did see a couple of reports where Roman has had to increase his medication to keep the leukemia back. So I'm expecting Roman probably will drop tomorrow to do his treatments or whatever that he might have to go through. And then I expect him to be back probably there soon after. Throw him in a couple of movies, let him rest up a little bit, and I know how physically exhausting that is to try to fight. So I wouldn't want to wrestle while having to increase medication for that. So,
well, isn't that the damn life? Yeah, throw him in a couple of movies, a couple of Paramounts, and he'll come back. Like, holy shit! Okay,
some Netflix specials here and there,
Oh no! Make him like the Batista movie, and he's a super spy having to protect a child. I want to see that with Roman. So, I was checking while you guys were talking. I was checking to see what the press conferences said, and right now it seems like Roman is in a legit bad mood. So maybe a spot messed up during the match that he pissed him off, and The Rock said to expect the unexpected tomorrow. So a friend of the podcast of Downtime in the Ring, is currently there in Philadelphia. One known as Zilla Fatu, Lance Anoa'i, Jimmy Anoa'i, Jacob Fatu. I would not be surprised if they let these guys in some capacity with all their wrestling training add to the shenanigans tomorrow. I'm super excited. Night one overall was by far a great way to set the bar for the Triple H era, if that says anything. Now tomorrow he has to go past that bar. Can he do it? He's got he's got both world titles. He's got a lackluster women's title from what it seems like everybody's saying. He has the Maverick with the United States Championship, and then he has Bree's bathroom break match, probably going to start off the show. Overall, I'm super excited for tomorrow. I can't wait to text you guys again and see what happens. Is anybody actually going to watch the Slammy Awards tomorrow morning?
I'll probably have it on. I don't know how much attention I'll pay to it. And I'm curious because normally they make a big deal about the Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
Did they even mention them other than Paul?
No.
Because they normally bring them out on stage and say, "Hey, everybody!"
It will probably be a night 2 thing, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, last year they did it both nights. So
yes, they did.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's true.
They didn't. They announced Paul Heyman as the Hall of Famer advocate to the tribal chief, but they didn't really touch too much on it. And then also, Thunderbolt Patterson's speech has had Twitter going half and half on it. So obviously they're looking at the analytics and going like, oh man, this is just, no matter what, people are going to complain. Like Chris said, I think maybe tomorrow, maybe like halfway through the show, they'll do something, but no, tonight they didn't really do much.
I just wasn't sure if I missed it. And Thunderbolt's speech wasn't bad.
It's weird. Twitter's weird. Twitter is
I didn't even see it.
It's more hate than anything.
It basically was stop hating. Everybody just stop hate. And he's old. It seemed like he forgot what he was doing several times.
I can't even make fun of him. I do that currently.
Yeah.
I've done this on the show already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm old. I mean, I can feel it. But no, what really surprised me was how many other people had taken from Thunderbolt. And when you guys get a chance, just at least if you don't want to watch the cringy speech, watch the intro where they talk about who's done what with some of his gimmicks and taglines and everything. And you'll be surprised how many modern era have borrowed from Thunderbolt. So it's pretty cool.
One thing that was crazy is they just secretly just got rid of the Warrior Award. Like that's no longer going to be a thing.
Someone had mentioned that in a new document that the Warrior was one that was going to be mentioned in the next volley of people that were involved with stuff. So what's her name was there, but they decided not to go forward with that. I also saw that Linda McMahon was in the audience for the Hall of Fame.
She was.
Oh.
No, I can't say we don't got beef with her, but we don't hate her as much. We still got beef with her. It still would be on site, but it would be very, very nice. That's the best
passive.
Roman accidentally spearing The Rock. That's gotta lead to something. That's gotta lead to something.
The Rock's reaction to Roman Reigns spearing The Rock was a different level. Like The Rock just screamed.
I mean, he looked like he actually got split in half. Like that was his reaction. Like he reacted like
it was pretty good. The only The only one I've ever seen was like Goldberg spear The Rock, and I remember that sell. He sold that, so this one was like, oh well, at least he's consistent.
Yeah.
Well, and Chris had mentioned it's like, oh man, The Rock is so big that and I'm trying to remember the exact comment.
Oh, The Rock was so big that during the spot where Cody and Seth were going to hit the pedigree, he didn't put his arms all the way back. He's so big he couldn't put his arms all the way back for that pedigree. Yeah. I was like, that was a weird looking pedigree.
Yeah, it was. It looked like he only hooked one arm.
Yeah.
Can we go back on the Roman thing real quick, DJ? He just addressed it.
Oh, okay.
From Wrestle Talk, Roman Reigns clarifies Pat McAfee's comment on commentary that he's currently battling leukemia. Roman says he's on oral chemotherapy medication and potentially will be on the rest of his life. He's still in remission, but it's still something that he has to deal with, and that will continue to be the case. I really wonder if Pat's going to get in trouble for that comment.
So probably. I'm thinking that Pat McAfee recently watched the A&E special. That's why.
Yeah.
I think
that's why.
Because it was mentioned on there as well that like he took something that is not like chemo, like what the usual chemo would be, but I can see how it could be misconstrued.
That's the downside of having a person outside of the kind of the environment a little bit.
Yeah,
like he's on the inside of things, but not completely
but not
so
really.
much.
Well, I think when they address it, I think that they're gonna lean on more the fact that they were promoting the A&E special, and that's how I think that Pat McAfee is gonna be able to sidestep any type of backlash from media.
Yeah.
So who wants one more piece of wrestling drama before we wrap this up?
Oh God!
Live
into the tea.
Live Wednesday. AEW has their side of the story for CM Punk's comments on Ariel Hawali. The Young Bucks present backstage footage from All In London, and we'll discuss this for the very first time. Not anything with WWE, but that is the last bit of tea before we get off this show.
I'm waiting for it. I'm just waiting for people to start. I can't.
It was announced on Collision a few minutes ago.
So in terms of the CM Punk comments, it always is with Ariel Hawani. He's a drama vulture. He is the Keemstar of sports podcasts, I firmly believe. And he kept prying, and CM Punk is CM Punk, and he even was like kind of like, I don't want to. But I just think it's just some dumb shit. And I knew after watching that, I need to hear Jack Perry, I need to hear the Young Bucks, I need to hear everyone else involved, because if this guy is talking, why aren't these guys talking?
So instead it's going to be, instead of talking, they're just going to be like, hey, we'll just show you the footage.
Oh
shit. But
so let's
last final thoughts on WrestleMania. Anybody got any last final thoughts? What do you think?
I actually got a question for you. What time do the Slammies start tomorrow morning?
No idea, because I'm not watching.
Because Donovan had asked if anybody was going to watch it, and I might watch it depending on what time it starts.
Let me look on the YouTube site right now and see what time they.
Well, while he's looking it up, I just want to say that final shot of Cody, it's like the parallel shot of Cody sitting in the ring, just contemplating life after losing at WrestleMania the same way he did at WrestleMania 39. If that didn't solidify for you that he will be finishing the story tomorrow, I don't know what is. Because why would they show that shot if it's not going to happen? But that's it.
And Cody's lost, or Cody's won up until this point at WrestleMania, so they can tie into the fact he can't win the big one, yada yada. So
I agree with this one. I'm waiting for the Rubber Chicken to make their appearance.
Right? I'm surprised. I'm very surprised.
Real end game right there. Rubber Chicken coming back 2024.
I honestly thought when Donovan said that he had one more thing left to say, he was going to bring up how much Roman Reigns looked like a troll doll at the end of that match.
Bro, his hair was
That's how you.
bad.
That's how you know Roman
The
Reigns put in work.
humidity. Yes.
That's how you know.
His
As
hair
someone
looked
with
like
curly
his hair
hair.
looked bad, man.
As
And-
someone with
and
curly hair,
I'm looking
sweat
at
does not. It's not our friend, okay?
He had the Snooki bump. I don't care what anybody says. He
It's
did.
humidity.
It's not humidity.
No, it happens with
Maybe
my
it's
hair.
Maybelline. I don't know, but
it happens with my hair.
whatever Troy
unfortunately.
Polamalu
bad.
uses, put that on. There's no possible way.
I'm sorry, I couldn't
Mm-mm.
help it because I'm looking in our Discord and Morgan had put a troll doll picture in there, and I'm like, yep, that's it. It was so funny because I've never seen his hair that messed up after a
Yeah.
match, and yeah, it was
She just
amusing.
laughed. I could hear her outside the room. She's laughing her ass off right now, but I don't know. Head and Shoulders, Maybelline, something
Nothing's
like
gonna
that.
work. Nothing's gonna work when
It
you're
won't.
going that crazy in a match with curly hair like that. It's just it's bad. It's bad.
Well,
It's
as you
gonna
can
get
tell, I
bad.
don't have to worry about that. So us old timers, we don't have
Yeah.
much hair.
Roman Reigns truly looked exhausted after that.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns seems
Yeah.
like he truly
Like,
was.
that's the one word that I got out of his look after that match. He just
He looked exhausted. And he did look upset at the end of that match. Like even though they
Yeah.
got the win, you could tell
I
something
think-
went wrong in that match.
I think it was the moment with the Cody cutter where it was the shoulder tackle rather than the cutter.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was that. I think
Where
it was that.
he launched
Mhm.
himself.
Or
It was just, yeah. I think
He
it was
went-
that.
Yeah.
He went
Or that
higher
he
than
actually
Joaquin Wild.
Because after that, Seth did that, and he did the same move that he was supposed to in the sequence after that.
Mm-hmm.
It was like almost like, yeah, okay, that was the fuck up there, and they had to redo that whole thing. So I think
Yeah.
it was that, if anything.
I just want to say, because I feel like if I don't say it, my co-host will be a little bit upset. If Meek Mill gets more time than Lil Wayne did, we riot.
let's hope
Meek
not.
Mill cannot give more.
That's
airtime
insane that they even
than
went
Lil
through with
Wayne.
that.
I
I'm not
thought
gonna
Lil
lie.
Wayne had some more bars. I was sitting here ready for like a 2 or 3 minute Lil Wayne song, and next thing you know, it was only 20 seconds long.
They
And
played.
it was
I
a
called the
milli.
song he played. I called the
Like
song
what?
he played. A
They
milli,
said
a milli.
no, because they said he was going to be premiering a new single.
Yeah.
So that means something went over or happened where
Yeah.
they couldn't do it.
I don't think
Maybe
that could have
tomorrow.
been though, because that's why we had Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce, because you could tell that they were trying to stall a little bit. Just bring back Wheezy. Just have us give us like a
Give us
5
the
minute.
performance we wanted.
That would have been better than having Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis. Honestly, nobody cared that they thanked us. We know
Yeah.
they're thankful.
Yeah.
But
Maybe tomorrow. Maybe they'll put it in tomorrow.
all right,
Instead
You
of
could have
Meek
even
Mill.
cut 5 minutes off the Rock and Roman that went almost an hour.
End it with that.
why so much hate? All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, everybody who watched, everybody who is currently watching, everybody who enjoyed all of our crap. Normally, I'd let these people give their socials, but they're going to be here tomorrow, and then they can give their socials, and then they can get their flowers also. But we are done for the night because so many things are happening at the press conference and on Collision in the world of professional wrestling. Chris Van Vliet just got humbled by Roman, so I really want to go see what's happening. Yeah, yes, things are happening right now. Things are happening. Roman got into an argument with Chris Van Vliet at the press conference. Things are happening. So we hope you guys enjoyed WrestleMania Night 1. We will be back here for WrestleMania Night 2 immediately after the pay-per-view. We hope that you guys enjoy the show. Remember to follow us on YouTube. We also have the Discord link there. I hope you guys have a good rest of your night. If you guys watch the Slammies, cool. If you don't watch the Slammies, cool. That doesn't really affect me either way because I'm not going to watch the Slammies. And I hope you guys all have a great night.